Did you know here at Revival Animal Health, we offer the largest selection of vaccines among pet supply companies, which means we've got your pet covered for whatever protection he needs.
That's right. We ship out nearly 1,000 pet vaccine orders every week. At Revival, we are truly committed to being the pet vaccine experts.
In this episode of the Pet Care Pro Show, we want to answer some of the most common questions we hear from customers when it comes to pet vaccines, such as, what is the difference between less expensive and more expensive vaccines?
Or what needles are best to use? What is the difference between a core or a non-core vaccine? Hi, I'm Helen.
And I'm Dee Dee. We are Pet Care Pros with Revival Animal Health.
Whether you're thinking of vaccinating your pet for the first time or you've done it many times before, in this episode, we want to share with you advice, tips, and answers to some of the most common questions we get regarding vaccines.
And I don't know about you, Helen, but I get asked a lot about the difference between the brands, the less expensive one versus the more expensive one.
I get that question a lot too.
Yeah. It's a good one though, and the answer is that all vaccines go through FDA testing and approvals. So any brand will provide the protection that they're labeled for, and the price difference you see is just the difference between brands, like anything else you purchase.
Another question I get is which vaccine has the highest incident of reaction? The thing is, all products, brands, and vaccinations carry a small risk of reaction. It can depend on many factors, including the individual puppy, kitten, dog, or cat. Reactions are rare, but they do happen.
There are different types of vaccines, and that can be confusing. There are liquid, powder, and intranasal. So what are the differences? We'll explain.
With the intranasal, the little tip helps drip it into the nose.
Making sure that you drip it into the nose, don't squeeze it into the nose, you don't want it into the trachea. Now the injectable ones often come with a powder, or what is often referred to as a cake, as well as a liquid, which is usually a sterile diluent. So you'll use your needle and syringe, draw the liquid up, add it to the powder, and that reconstitutes that. Then you draw that back into the needle and syringe and give your injection.
Vaccination needles are another thing that many customers have questions about. Some people want the smallest needle. However, those often bend and the vaccine doesn't always draw up or flow through as easily. This causes more pushing, which actually causes more pressure and pain under the skin for the babies, and can cause the needle to pop off if it's a regular lure. So if you are comfortable with the 25 by 5/8 needle, that would be the small one with the red cap, we suggest that you use the lure lock, which is the twist on, to prevent the needle from blowing off due to pressure.
Exactly, Helen. And the blue capped one is the 22 gauge needle. And this is the one that we find works best when it comes to giving your injectable vaccines.
Another common question is, why are certain vaccines necessary? We get this question often, and the simple answer is that vaccines provide insurance. They help protect your pet against specific diseases and what is present in your area where you live for protection.
That's right. So not all diseases are found everywhere. It's important to talk with your vet about what's best for the protocol for your cat and dog in your area.
You may hear the terms core vaccines and non-core vaccines. Core vaccines are vaccines that the American Animal Hospital Association recommends for most pets, regardless of region. For example, in dogs, these are parvo, distemper, adenovirus, and rabies.
And for our feline friends, these would include panleukopenia, herpes, calicium, and again the rabies.
Now when it comes to non-core vaccines, these are vaccines that are recommended based on the pet's level of exposure. For example, lepto. Lepto thrives in wet environments and can be spread by wildlife. So if you live in a wet area or if your dog is exposed to wild animals, vaccinating for lepto might give your dog the added insurance he needs.
Lyme disease is another non-core vaccine. Lyme disease is very common in the north and in the Midwest because they have the deer tick that carries this, and it's very prominent in these regions.
Feline leukemia in cats is an example of a non-core vaccine for cats that go outdoors. If your cat is indoors 100% of the time, then the feline leukemia vaccine really isn't necessary, but if you choose, it is available.
Right. And don't forget, some vaccines require a booster. So to make sure to keep records of when your pet is due for the booster if you're doing your own vaccinations.
Keeping a record of your pet's vaccinations is important. An easy way to do that is to use the Revival health records. We have the dog or cat health records that have special boxes on the records to make it easy to record exactly what vaccines your pet receives. You can pull the vaccine sticker right off of the vial and put it onto the health record for proof of vaccination.
Choosing the right product for your pet is hard, and it's especially true for vaccines. We love hearing from our informed pet owners, though, so don't hesitate to call if you have any questions. It's 800-786-4751. I'm Dee Dee.
And I'm Helen. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of the Pet Care Pro Show.